Verizon says there's relief on the way for dropped calls and dragging data. Phil Lindemann, Krystal, 93 News. First, snow totals are in from the latest storm. Loveland and Keystone got 32 inches, A Basin got 27, Copper saw 37, and Breckenridge is the big winner with 44 inches since last Thursday for 89 inches since March 1st. That's nearly 7.5 feet. Snowpack at Hoosier and Fremont Passes is over 150% of average. A dumpster fire at Sawmill Condos in Breckenridge led to a gas leak yesterday, closing Park Avenue at Ski Hill Road. Red, White, and Blue Fire responded to the fire at 11:50 a.m. in the condo parking structure and found the gas leak soon after. Officials believe flames damaged a nearby gas meter. Guests were evacuated while crews monitored for explosive gas. One building manager was treated for smoke inhalation. There were no other injuries, and the cause of fire remains unknown. News of avalanches on I-70 couldn't keep powder hounds at bay this weekend as 136,000 vehicles passed through both sides of the Eisenhower-Johnson tunnels Friday through Sunday. That's 38,000 fewer cars than President's Day weekend, the busiest of the season so far, but 8,000 more than the average for March. Spring break brings hundreds of thousands of visitors to Summit, and like I-70, it jams up local cellular networks, especially in Frisco, where residents last year asked Verizon to update its cell sites. And relief is finally on the way. A Verizon rep confirms the provider is adding a new cell site in Frisco this year. Installation will likely begin in late spring. No word yet on completion date. The issue is capacity, not signal strength. The rep relates cell networks to a highway. The network now is too small for busy weekends and holidays, as the average American uses 60% more data than last year. A new cell site adds more lanes to that cellular highway, upgrading capacity. Vail Resorts' bottom line is down about $30 million since December compared to last year, reporting income of $206.3 million. The company released its latest earnings report Friday, showing it lost $30 million from several acquisitions, including 2 new resorts in Australia. Season pass and lift ticket revenue is up by 8%, while skier visits are also up by 27%. This is Vail's second straight quarter with year-over-year losses. Quarter 1 saw losses of nearly $108 million due to more resort purchases, including Crested Butte. Vail stock hit a 52-week low of $179 per share in January. It closed at $220.53 today. Historical novelist Bill Pennyar will never forget the stories he heard about Uday Hussein, Saddam Hussein's son, while serving as a U.S. Foreign Service officer in Iraq, especially the cage at his private residence.
He would take young women whom his thugs would kidnap from Baghdad University and elsewhere, and as the other women watched, they would lower that cage into the lagoon where she would scream for her life and then drown.
Since the 80s, Pennyar has worked in more than a dozen countries as a civilian, including the former USSR and war-torn Africa. But his time in Iraq, embedded with Marines in 2009, left the biggest impression, and not just the horrors.
People are people the world over, and everybody really desires certain basic things: secure shelter, safety, stability, and opportunity.
The part-time Summit resident turned his Iraq experience into a book titled Surviving Dreamland. He gives a talk tomorrow at the Bookworm in Edwards at 6 p.m. and this Saturday, March 16th, at the Next Page in Frisco from 3 to 5 p.m. Tragic news from the cycling world. Kelly Catlin, a professional track cyclist who helped the American Pursuit team win silver at the 2016 Games in Rio de Janeiro, was found dead at her home in California last Friday of apparent suicide. She was 23. In sports, the Avalanche played the Hurricanes tonight. Game time is 6 p.m. And in local sports, brought to you by American Family Insurance, the Weiss Agency, Tigers baseball opened the season Saturday with doubleheader losses in Canyon City. Tomorrow, girls soccer season begins with Glenwood Springs and Glenwood. Phil Lindemann, Krystal, 93 News.